Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined as always by Vinny Tickets. A little bit later on in the program, WizKid Vinny will have his historical look at sports. And Vinny, this week is a big week for the Mets and their fans as they, honor one of the great Mets of all time. Doc Gooden is going to have his number retired on Sunday prior to their game. And I remember, even though growing up a Yankee fan, how exciting it was to go see Doc Gooden pitch at Shea Stadium.
Yeah, every few days you always had that excitement. There was always lots of energy when he was on the hill, and it was a pleasure to watch him play the game.
Now, someone who knows Doc very, very well, has been part of the Mets franchise for many, many years, a longtime PR director for the Mets, and now their vice president of alumni relations and club historian, Jay Horwitz, joins us here on the show to talk about Doc Gooden. Jay, it's Peter and Vinny. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to Sunday. Doc's been a friend for over 40 years, so it's a well-deserved honor, and I can't wait for Sunday to come.
His baseball resume, obviously speaks for itself, what he meant for the franchise when he came up, and obviously was a big part of the 1986 World Championship team. But you were with the team when he was on the way up through the minor leagues. What was the feeling around the organization as he was climbing the ladder? Was there this sense when he was in the minors and as he got to AAA that he could be something special?
Well, he didn't really have a long stay in the minors. He was drafted in '82, and David Johnson told me the story. He was roving in '82 when Doc was at Kingsport, and Davey saw one bullpen session. He made a pledge to Doc then. He said, "Listen, if I get to manage in the majors, you're going to be my guy." And the next year in '83, he went to Lynchburg, struck out 300 guys in like 191 innings, and he pitched a little bit at Norfolk at the end of the year. So in '84, he was there. And I'll tell you one thing, Davey was a really brash, kind of ballsy. Well, can I say ballsy? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can fine. Yeah, it's good. That's good. I use that word every day.
He fought for him in '84. There's a feeling of the front office. I remember the beginning of Dwight's birthday is in November. So he pitched at 19. When Davey first saw him, Davey was 17. Doc was 17. So when he pitched at 84, he was 19. There's a lot of feeling in the front office. Send him down to get another level, get more experience. And Davey fought. And, the rest is history. He came and, Rookie of the Year, then Cy Young. But he didn't have a whole lot of time in the minors. But the one key thing, in '83, Lynchburg played a game at Shea Stadium, and he had a very impressive performance. I remember Davey watched and said, "This guy's going to be with us next year." So Davey fought, and thank God he did.
And I remember that his rookie year, so he's approaching the rookie strikeout record. And the Mets are playing the Pirates, a weekday night game. And Jay, I know you will remember this, intimately. But I just, at the last minute, and again, Jay, you know me for a long time. You know how big of a Yankee fan I am. But I had to be at Shea Stadium that night because you knew he was within a few strikeouts of breaking the rookie strikeout record. And I went to the game, it was so electric there. And everybody knew, everybody was hanging on every single pitch.
It was happening, Peter. It wasn't a game. Every day he pitched. Listen, what went on with DeGrom was great and everything. But I think what made Doc so special, he was young. When he pitched at 19 in '84, and he pitched at 20 the Cy Young years. Everything, the first guy started All-Star game, the first guy to do this. I think that's coupled with everything. That's what made it so exciting. If he was 26, 27, would have been exciting. But to been so young and do what he did, it was such a young age. I think that's what made everything so great.
Absolutely. So, Jay, obviously he had a very storied career, did a lot of amazing things. Is there anything over his career that stands out that you will take and say, my greatest memory of Doc is?
To all the off-the-field BS, and, you got to remember in '86, he didn't have a Great World Series. He never ran. He was always accountable to his fans, always accountable to everyone. When he had a bad outing, remember in the second game in Boston, he lost. And I went down to the locker and said, Jay, what do you need me to do? He went down and played in pitch well. That's one of his stuff that he, regrets. He didn't win a game in the World Series. He told me a story too, that in Game 6 in the World Series, before Mookie's hit, he was warming up in the bullpen. That if we had gone to extra innings, Dwight would have pitched.
Wow!
And he just wanted to make a contribution, to the team. But he's never. I think the one thing, he's accountable. He doesn't ran for anything when things were bad. Everything well documented, off the field stuff. But he never ran. Was always accountable. And now he's doing some great things in the community, speaking to schools, speaking to high schools, going to churches. And basically, he's mentioned, don't do what I did, and I think that's something so endearing to people. He's made mistakes. He's admitted his mistakes. He's gone on to do some great things.
We're talking to Jay Horwitz, the Mets Vice President of Alumni Relations, club historian, their longtime media relations director. He joins us here on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. So Doc's going to have his number retired on Sunday at Citi Field. It's going to be, a great day for the Mets and the franchise and their fans. Can you, not that you want to spill the beans on everything that's going to happen, but can you give everybody a little taste, a little sneak peek of what to expect at Citi Field on Sunday?
Well, a lot of his teammates are going to be back. Roger McDowell, Jesse Orozco, Tim Tuffle, Barry Lyons is going to be here. Unfortunately, Davey Johnson can't travel. He broke his hip surgery a little while ago. Hank Azaria is going to be here. Chas Palminteri, the actor, is going to be here.
Oh.
There's a lot of
star-studded crowd.
Yeah, different venues are going to be there. So it would be nice. Well-deserved tribute. Be up next to Keith on the board, and and the '86 team is a lot of different characters on the team, and I'm glad that Dwight is finally getting recognized.
And it's not just Doc that's going to be honored this year. There's going to be a day for Darryl Strawberry. I think the date is June 1st, and I know we're going June 2nd because my son Jared's birthday is on June 2nd. We're going to that game because they're giving out the Darryl Strawberry bobblehead that day. But that's going to be another special weekend at Citi Field as well.
I will tell you, the other people I said, Darryl's doing great after his heart attack. He's taking it easy a little bit. He's He's recovering fine, and I'm looking forward to seeing Darryl on June 1st. Another well-deserved honor.
For you, we've talked about this off the air. I mean, the Mets have been such a huge part of your life, and I think it was great to be at Citi Field last year when you were honored to get that that achievement award as part of the Mets Hall of Fame. And so many people around the Mets organization were so happy. You've meant so much to the Mets franchise. Can you kind of put into words, you've been around Doc and Darryl and all the great Mets teams, the teams that have gone to the World Series. What the Mets have meant to you in your lifetime?
Yeah, really my family, Peter. I'm never married. Met my family. Made a lot of great friends through the years. Managed Willie Rayner, Terry Collins, Bobby Valentine, Davey Johnson. The Al Leiters, John Franco's of the world, David Wrights of the world. My friends and lifelong friends, and in my new position as the alumni director, I'm able to, reconnect with them again. It's just being around friends. And that's, I never really viewed this as going to work, as just doing something I enjoy, being around these people. It's really been a joy of my life to be, I've been with the Mets now for 45 years, with not too many people to say they've been in one place for 45 years.
Right.
I consider myself very, very fortunate.
What, the last thing on Doc, he's known for his fastball. Obviously, he had all those strikeouts. But, man, when he uncorked that curveball, I think Tim McCarver, may he rest in peace, used to call it Uncle Charlie. When Doc would he'd set the batter up for that curveball, call it Uncle Charlie. That was such a deadly curveball. I think people almost were as mesmerized by that as any of his fastballs.
Peter, you got to understand, too, we have all these pitches today, have 8, 9 pitches. He had 2 pitches, had the curveball and the fastball. That's all he had. Yeah. So he won all those games with really 2 basic pitchers.
He was, he was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we cannot thank you enough for spending some time to talk. And by the way, just on another subject, I always appreciated everything. Wherever I worked, you were always very accommodating to me, and you didn't have to because I was a Yankees fan, but you were always you always welcomed me into the press box, anything that happened, and I always appreciate that. I want you to know that.
Well, Oh, well, baby, congratulations on your son, Peter, before I forget.
Oh, thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate that. Thanks for joining us.
See you soon. My pleasure.
Thank you, Jay.
Jay Horwitz, Vice President of Alumni Relations and Club Historian for the New York Mets. He's also a huge New York Giants football fan, so I know he appreciated. That's why he said to Bradley, "Congratulations." I know he appreciates a good football player when he sees it. So lots more to come. We have a Mets ticket giveaway. Whiz Kid Vinny is coming up. Always a great segment with him. That's when Sports Bash rolls on right after this. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz. I'll be rejoined in a few moments by Vinny Tickets. Meanwhile, Whiz Kid Vinny is here for his weekly segment. You know this song from the '86 Mets team?
Yeah, my dad reminds me about it a lot.
Let's listen into a little bit of it. It's Let's Go Mets Go. Now, inside story here, true story. I went with my friend, may he rest in peace, my friend Jeff. We went to again, we were both Yankee fans, but I remember going to a Mets game and they were filming this music video. Listen to it. Let's go. It's very hard for me to sing Let's Go Mets Go as a Yankee fan, but anyway, it was a great song. I was at Shea Stadium with my friend Jeff when they filmed the music video. And it was pretty cool to see how they did it at Shea Stadium that day. But we play this song because the Mets this week, and we thank Jay Horwitz for joining us to talk about Doc Gooden. The Mets are honoring Doc Gooden this coming Sunday when the Mets take on the Royals. Before the game, they're going to retire his number 16. And later on in the season, Darryl Strawberry's number 18 will get retired too. But it's Doc Gooden's weekend, Doc Gooden's day on Sunday. So Whiz Kid Vinny is here with a little look at the career of Dwight Gooden.
Yeah, that's right. Dwight Eugene Gooden, also known as Doc, or my personal favorite, Dr. K, was drafted in 1982 by the team. And when he went to the majors in 1984, he was single A. He skipped over both Double A and Triple A to get to the majors.
I think the only Triple A appearance he had was in the AAA World Series. I don't think he pitched during the season for Tidewater. I think he appeared with them in the AAA World Series. I think that's what Jay was alluding to earlier.
Yes, that's correct. But in terms of the regular season, he was not in either. But 19 years old, as a rookie, he leads the National League in strikeouts, wins the Rookie of the Year, and he follows that up with one of the greatest sophomore seasons in MLB history. Forget just as a pitcher, but just as any player. Wins the Triple Crown, meaning that he leads the NL in wins, strikeouts, and ERA.
24-4?
Yeah, I believe it was
24-4.
I believe it was that. And then 1986, another All-Star appearance. The Mets win the World Series that year against the Boston Red Sox. But then afterwards, we started to see what ended up being sort of like the fall of Dwight, as you could say, and with some hiccups here and there. He eventually was cut from the Mets in 1994. He was out for 1995, but then he was picked up by the Yankees in 1996. And the one thing I'll always remember him for the 1996 season, besides winning the World Series with the Yankees, is the no-hitter he had against the Seattle Mariners, the same team that the Yankees lost to in ALDS the previous year. And then afterwards, he played a little bit with the Indians and the Astros and the Devil Rays at the time, as they were called, and finished his career winning the World Series for the Yankees against his former team, the Mets, before he hung up his
He came back to the Yankees that year. There was a day-night, multiple venue doubleheader. So the day game was at Shea Stadium. I was at both of them. He pitched the day game. George Steinbrenner signed him. He pitched the day game at Shea Stadium and beat the Mets. And then the night game was at Yankee Stadium. And I think that was the night that Clemens threw at Piazza. I think that night game at Yankee Stadium was the night that Clemens threw at Piazza. But in any event, it was a special. Hey, listen, he won. Not too many people can say that you won a World Series with both the Mets and the Yankees, and he did that.
No, not at all. And I think it's also very fitting that this year his number will be retired by the Mets the same year on June 1st. Darryl Strawberry's number is going to be retired by the team, and I understand, David Wright also had the number 5, but I would like to see Davey Johnson also have that as well. Unfortunately, he can't be there because of the recent injury, but I'm wishing Davey Johnson the best of luck. And, I'm just very, very happy that Dwight Gooden's getting his number retired. It just feels very fitting. You could honestly say outside of Tom Seaver, he was the best pitcher in Mets history. Now, granted, you can argue that with Jacob deGrom and Jerry Koosman, but Dwight has to be up there with all the memories that people will forever remember until.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vinny. And it's great that new Mets owner Steve Cohen has made a commitment to the history of the Mets. It just seemed to me like when Citi Field opened up in 2009, there was just not an attention to detail in Mets history, and it's nice that Steve Cohen is doing that. Resurrecting things and honoring some of the great players and individuals who have been part of the Mets since they joined Major League Baseball in 1962. Vinny Tickets is back with me. Great conversation with Jay Horwitz. Always good to catch up with him. He has been a character over the years, boy. I'll tell you, I feel privileged being in this business for over 3 decades. He is he's a mensch. Yeah, I'll just say that. Jay Horwitz has always been a mensch to me, my family, and to everybody in the New York media. So we thank him for joining us. So let's get to our Mets ticket giveaway in honor of Doc Gooden. We're giving away some Mets tickets, aren't we?
Absolutely. So we will be giving away 4 tickets for the New York Mets on April 29th. That'll be 4 tickets. And in order to win those tickets, you need to go to our socials. You could do a follow. You could do a share. You could do a like. The more that you do on our socials, whether it's Peter's or Vinny Tickets, the more you do on our socials, the more entries you get to win those tickets. And we'll make that announcement every single Monday.
So that's 4 tickets, Mets and Cubs, April 29th again. So follow, like, share, all those things on our YouTube channel, social, Sports Bash Media, Vinny Tickets, and Peter Schwartz Sports on Instagram, Schwartz Sports on X or Twitter. And it's going to be a hot ticket on Sunday at Citi Field. A lot of Met fans of all ages are going to want to be there, and ticketbash.com will be your place to go to get those highly sought-after tickets for Sunday's game.
Why, thank you for that plug.
I'm contractually obligated to do that.
Yes. So yeah, absolutely. Anyone check the weather yet?
I have not. Maybe before we go off the air, WizKid Vinny can check his Doppler radar on his phone, and he can let us know. But I think the weather the rest of the week is supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, because yesterday or earlier in the week on Tuesday, we had some spectacular. It was actually hot out. Yeah, so if they have a day like that, I think that'll really, really drive ticket sales.
Absolutely. And there's, obviously the Yankees are off to a really good start as well. So just staying on the subject of tickets, if you remember last year, the Yankees had these dual bobblehead days. One was for Roger Maris, 61. The other one was for Aaron Judge, 62. And the 2 bobbleheads, I didn't get either one of them. I got to find them on eBay somehow because they didn't go to the game. I'm not going to be able to go this year to the Aaron Judge game. But the 2 bobbleheads connect with each other. So the Aaron Judge bobblehead got rained out last year, and they rescheduled it for this year, Saturday, April 20th against Tampa Bay. And those bobblehead, it's always a hot ticket. And again, ticketbash.com, I think the game is sold out. So I think the first 18,000 people get the bobblehead. So that's going to be a highly sought after ticket too, especially since the Yankees are off to a great start.
They are off to a great start. A lot of energy in that dugout.
No question about it. And you've got the Knicks and the Rangers making their streak to the playoffs. They're both in. Islanders may be joining them. We'll see. Maybe after Tuesday night, we'll see what happens. But so the Knicks and Rangers at the Garden in the playoffs. You talked about it in previous weeks, how electric the Garden gets for the playoff games.
Yeah, actually, my son went to the playoff game last year, and he's been to all kinds of events. And he told me, he said, "Dad, there is nothing like a Knicks playoff game."
And if the Islanders are still, if they haven't already clinched it by then, they close the season on Wednesday night at UBS Arena against the Penguins, another team that is battling for a playoff spot. That could be a win and you're in game on Wednesday at UBS Arena. And once again, ticketbash.com for all your Islanders ticket needs for everything going on in the metropolitan area and really throughout the country.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So there you go. That'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Thanks to our guest, Jay Horwitz, who joined us to talk about Doc Gooden getting his number retired. That's going to come up Sunday when the Mets take on the Royals at Citi Field. Number 16 retired to the top of Citi Field with the other Mets great. So for Vinny Tickets, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget, every week, new episodes of Sports Bash drop Fridays on YouTube. Saturday mornings, we air at 8:30 in the morning. LI News Radio, 103.9 FM and linewsradio.com. So for everybody here on the staff, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll catch you again next week.